Hi there, I'm Dr. Johnny Bowden, and thanks for answering those questions. I've got your fat-burning type, which I'm going to share with you right here in this video. But first I have to tell you, there's something very surprising about your results. Because of your fat-burning type, there are a few specific foods that can actually help you burn fat faster. And these are foods you probably assumed were off limits. I'm talking about desserts, like this decadent chocolate cake, or dinners like this mouth-watering pasta bolognese, or even your favorite hot pizza. Now that sounds crazy, doesn't it? But the latest research proves that eating these foods at just the right times helps activate something called metabolically active tissue, or what we call MAT. Now, MAT only makes up about 5% of your total body tissue, but it burns more than 50% of your daily calories. And the more active your MAT, the more fat you burn. In fact, when this tissue is fully activated, everyday activities become powerful fat-torching movements. Now, what if doing simple daily tasks like walking to your refrigerator, taking a casual stroll through the park, or even brushing your teeth ultimately wound up burning more fat calories than an hour of traditional exercise? What if making your bed turned out to ultimately burn more fat than long sessions of cardio or sit-ups? I know that's hard to imagine now, but watch this video to the end and you'll have a personalized eating plan that makes it a reality. It's a plan proven to activate MAT and to transform women in their 50s into 24/7 fat burners. Plus, it puts you back in control of your appetite and your cravings for good. Just like it did for Jacqueline, at 53, Jacqueline was diet resistant and she had struggled with weight for most of her life. However, after seeing this presentation, she said, "This wakes you up. It was the best thing I ever did." And her health improvements and her weight loss back that up. And I'll share more about her amazing transformation in just a minute. Plus, I exposed 3 so-called healthy foods that actually poison MAT and pack on belly fat. You'll want to avoid these belly-fattening foods at all costs. Luckily, you can easily replace these 3 mat-poisoning foods with yummy alternatives. Delicious foods that can help quickly restore your powerful fat-burning tissue to its youthful prime. It's all part of the personalized plan that I'm about to show you. Now don't worry, this plan does not force you to do any crazy exercise, doesn't make you choke down a bunch of expensive pills, it's not about trends like ketosis or intermittent fasting. Not that there's anything wrong with those things, this is not that. This is a simple, clear, easy-to-follow plan that works and was designed specifically for regular people just like you. It's a simple, proven way to help folks like you look better in their clothes, feel happier, feel more energetic, and regain the motivation to do what brings them the most joy in life. And the first step to feeling this fantastic, you guessed it, it's understanding your fat-burning type. So let's dive into your results right now. Okay, there are 4 different fat burner levels. Each level represents how well your MAT actually burns fat. Now, level 1 types have their MAT stuck in low gear, and they burn the least amount of fat. Level 4 types have their MAT humming along at top speed all the time, and they burn the most fat. Now, based on your answers, right now you're a level 2 fat burner. That means you're not burning fat nearly as fast as you could. And women with a level 2 fat-burning type can often struggle with what I like to call pocket obesity. These are really nasty pockets of fat that appear as a muffin top that make your pants fit too tightly, or as unsightly pockets of fat that are glued to the belly or to the thighs and leading to that pear shape that everybody hates. And for some women, it's pockets of facial fat that make them look swollen or bloated. Does this sound familiar? All this pocket obesity is a symptom of a level 2 fat burner with too much inactive MAT. However, here's the deal. Most level 2 fat burners weren't always this way. At some point, they were probably a level 3 or even a level 4 fat burner. And then over time, stresses of juggling work, life, family, life, it takes its toll. Maybe there's an injury or an illness that slows your metabolism. Maybe they just ate too much of the so-called healthy foods that actually poison MAT. But here's the worst thing of all. Traditional diets and exercise don't work for level 2 fat burners. They just don't. In fact, they often backfire. And they drop women all the way back down to a level 1 fat burner. Yikes, no wonder diets are so frustrating. Luckily, there's good news for you. Since you were very likely a level 3 or a level 4 fat burner at one point in your life, your cells actually already know how to burn fat. It's like muscle memory, but for your fat-burning cells. It's like learning to ride a bike. That means you can quickly reactivate your powerful fat-burning mat pretty quickly. In just 7 to 10 days, you could upgrade to being a level 3 fat burner. Almost immediately, you'll begin to see your clothing fit better, and you'll look better overall. How nice would that be? And after 22 days, you're probably going to be showered with compliments and questions about what you're doing. And picture yourself 6 months from now. You could be all the way up to level 4 fat burning. And at this point, you'll have a powerful metabolism that burns mostly fat, which is exactly what you want. And then it takes very little effort to stay lean. And if you do happen to indulge once in a while, no big deal. Your body knows what to do. It quickly burns off any of those extra calories. These results are possible because of one incredible breakthrough. And I don't use that word casually. I've been a weight loss specialist for more than 20 years. I've written 3 best-selling books, and I've been invited on dozens of TV shows to talk about effective weight loss. And I'm humbled to say that I've helped over 250,000 men and women discover how to lose weight, regain their health, and thrive regardless of their age. But here's the thing. Pretty early into my work, I started to notice something very interesting. And it's the very thing that actually led to the creation of the video that you're watching right now. See, I had a really good track record of success. About 70%, 75% of the folks I worked with lost the weight that they wanted to lose and became far healthier. But I wanted to know why 30% didn't. Why 30% did not get the results everybody else was achieving. So I started studying these 30%ers really closely. And what I discovered was shocking. Now, many of my most difficult weight loss clients were actually level 2 fat burners just like you. They'd once been much leaner, and then slowly, their metabolism seemed to almost shut down. And at first, I didn't understand why. But then I made a big discovery, and that discovery proved to me it wasn't their fault, and it's not yours either. So for the rest of this presentation, promise me you'll just put aside for the moment any judgments you have about weight loss struggles. My big breakthrough came from an obscure 2001 medical paper. And I remember digging through countless studies on fat metabolism, and I stumbled across this long-forgotten article in a clinical nutrition journal. I opened it up, almost magically, to the very page that changed the lives of my 30%ers. The story was about how the human body burns calories at rest. And this is when I first discovered metabolically active tissue, or what we call MAT. The article revealed that while MAT is only 5.2% of your body's tissues, it actually burns 56.8% of your daily calories. Now, this special tissue, MAT, is so powerful that it burns 331% more calories than muscle does. And it burns 983% more calories per second than any other part of your body. Now, the more I dug into this weight loss treasure map, the more aha moments that I had. I was shocked to learn that most of your MAT is in just 4 organs: your liver, your kidneys, your brain, and your heart. That means your life literally depends on MAT. And get this, these same organs are fueled the most efficiently when you feed them fat. Even your brain can run entirely on fat calories. In some lucky folks, this tissue is on a full-out metabolic sprint. It operates at full capacity and burns truckloads of fat calories 24/7. But in others, MAT is just sputtering along, burning tiny amounts of fat. I call this impaired MAT. And it was one of the reasons my most difficult clients couldn't lose weight. They were doing everything right, but they were only burning a fraction of their unwanted body fat. They were also showing signs of early aging, experiencing aches and pains, and feeling tired and old a lot more often. And it's no wonder why, right? Picture your car when your gas is almost gone. It's sputtering along while you're desperately looking for a gas station anywhere, right? That's what the liver, kidneys, heart, and brain do when impaired. They struggle to just get by. They sputter rather than firing on all cylinders. And it means that they can't burn the calories that they should be burning. When MAT is impaired, all the dieting in the world won't deliver results. In fact, regular dieting may actually inactivate MAT even more, forcing more fat gain. However, once your MAT is fully activated, you can eat more fatty foods and you can still lose weight. That's a delicious benefit to MAT optimization. When you activate impaired MAT, you burn fat. Let me repeat that. When you activate MAT, you burn more fat. Activate MAT, burn fat. It's that simple. And that's why I need to tell you about the 3 quote-unquote healthy foods that practically put Matt in a coma. And more importantly, give you a customized Matt-activating eating plan. And this plan is designed to train your body to become a full-time fat burner in just 22 days. Now imagine this. Imagine life just 22 days from now. Picture laying down for a few hours. You're actually going to burn far more fat calories than before just at rest. Look, as you'll learn in this program, going to the grocery store ultimately burns off more fat calories than an exercise session on the treadmill. Imagine that tonight you go to dinner with your friends. They ask you, what have you been doing to look this good this quickly? And you go, I've been brushing my teeth. Matt is that powerful. Now, of course, look, there's more to it than brushing your teeth. If that were all it took, everybody would be lean and healthy. Just watch till the end, and you'll understand everything that you need. So the question to ask right now is, why is MAT impaired in the first place? Well, it all goes back to your childhood. Did you know you were born with your fat-burning Matt fully activated? It's true. Babies are awesome fat burners. Breast milk's really high in fat. Babies do great on fat. That's why doctors recommend that kids eat much more fat than they recommend for adults. This super active MAT is one of the reasons most kids can eat you out of house and home and never seem to put on an ounce of fat. Wouldn't that fat-burning ability be wonderful to experience again? It can happen much faster than you think. See, there's a reason kids are such good fat burners. They have optimal levels of what doctors are now calling the youth hormone. And I'm not talking about HGH. I'm talking about a little-known hormone that literally forces MAT to burn fat at an incredible rate. And under certain circumstances, it can work just as well in adults as it does in kids. Unfortunately, levels of this hormone can drop by more than half as we age. Why? In part, it's because of a double whammy that those so-called healthy foods deliver. First, these healthy foods lower your level of the youth hormone. And second, they raise levels of a MAT-killing hormone. Level 2 fat burners produce far too much of this MAT-killing hormone. The hormone's called insulin, and level 2 fat burners can really struggle with it. Now, insulin has a very important function. It's produced by your pancreas to lower your blood sugar, because high blood sugar is extremely dangerous. So anything that raises blood sugar causes insulin to rise. Processed foods, sugar, even certain supplements and medications can cause insulin to skyrocket. In diabetics, there's always a problem with insulin, often requiring medication. But even in healthy folks, insulin is often way too high and for way too long. And guess what too much insulin does to Matt? It starves it. And what do you think it does to fat? It stores it. So insulin starves Matt and feeds fat. It starves your Matt, which is your fat-burning tissue, and it makes you fatter by storing sugar in your fat cells. That's a really nasty combination. Here's a simple explanation of how it works. Take a typical family driving around town. The engine in the car is humming along, everything is going well. Now picture that engine becoming clogged and stuffed full of dirt and crud. The engine slows, maybe it stalls. Even worse, the engine can seize up suddenly, causing a serious accident. Well, excess insulin acts just like that dirt in our body's metabolic engine. It can cause MAT to putter along, struggling to get from one destination to the next. Matt slows down, stalls out, even seizes up. I call this condition metabolic clog. Now, if your Matt is clogged, the entire body suffers and weight loss crashes and burns. This is not the life I want for you, and I don't think it's the life you want for yourself. I think we both agree you deserve better. After all, this engine we're talking about is you, and you're the engine that everyone you know and love depends on, your spouse, your kids, your grandkids, your friends, family, coworkers. So this may sound like a pretty bleak picture to paint, and it would be if it were not for the youth hormone that I mentioned a few minutes ago. Now, optimizing this powerful hormone can tame insulin, repair Matt, and crank up fat burning. I'll tell you what it's called in just a moment. Just know this. The customized meal plan you're about to see naturally optimizes this fat-burning hero. Now, since you're a level 2 fat burner, here's what I want you to do. It's going to optimize this hormone and fully activate the calorie-burning power of your MAT. Okay, you ready? Simply avoid 3 specific categories of foods. These foods pack on the pounds and they beat up your MAT. Think of them as MAT disruptors. However, rest assured, as a level 2 fat burner, you can just swap them out for delicious foods that I'm going to share with you in a minute. That'll help optimize your level of this youth hormone, rebuild your MAT, and get your body burning fat. Okay, the first category of MAT disruptors to avoid is common cooking oils, especially soybean oil. Soybean oil sneaks its way into common foods, and it's used in many restaurants. Worst of all, it's billed as a healthy oil. That's hogwash, and here's why. There are 2 fatty acids that your cells need to stay healthy and to burn fat, omega-6 and omega-3. However, your cells need them in the right amount, ideally in a 1-to-1 ratio. Now, get this. Soybean oil has 11 times more omega-6 than omega-3s. With that much of an omega-6 overload, your cells stop working the way they should, and that sends your MAT-destroying insulin levels soaring. Now, you may not think you're eating a lot of soybean oil, but don't be so sure. Research shows it's the most widely used oil, accounting for almost 55% of all oil used. It's hidden in mayo, it's in salad dressings, it's in virtually every fast food, even in some breakfast meats and flavored coffees. In fact, it's the #1 source of omega-6 imbalances in the USA. So what should you do? Here's what I recommend for women who are level 2 fat burners. Use extra virgin olive oil instead of soybean oil when cooking at a low heat. When cooking at high heat, use cold-pressed coconut oil. Both of these natural oils are wonderful for your joints, wonderful for your brain, and wonderful for your heart. They also help optimize levels of the youth hormone, that same hormone that combats fat-storing insulin and helps fully activate fat-burning MAT. I'll go over this more in a moment. But first, let's cover your second MAT disruptor category, natural sweeteners. But wait, Dr. Johnny, aren't natural sweeteners always better than sugar? Not always. In fact, some natural sweeteners can actually be worse than sugar. Let me explain. See, there's 2 types of molecules in sugar, glucose and fructose. In table sugar, they're balanced in a 1-to-1 ratio. But a lot of other sweeteners have a lot higher level of fructose, and that's a major problem. Because while glucose is processed by your whole body, fructose is processed in your liver, and it's processed as a toxin. Studies have linked fructose to everything from fatty liver disease to elevated triglycerides, and most importantly, to insulin resistance. And the more insulin resistant you become, the more insulin your body is forced to make. And this excess insulin feeds fat and starves fat. That's why you probably heard that high fructose corn syrup is worse than regular sugar. You heard right. And it's hidden in fruit juice, whole wheat bread, it's even in ketchup. So I am no fan of high fructose corn syrup, but get this. High fructose corn syrup doesn't have nearly as much fructose as another supposedly healthy sweetener, agave nectar. Now, agave nectar sounds real natural, right? It's not. It has as much as 92% fructose. And that makes agave nectar like super high fructose corn syrup. Eating agave nectar is like setting off an insulin bomb in your body. Now again, you may not think you're eating that much agave nectar. However, if you eat just about any packaged food, you're likely ingesting a lot of it without even knowing, because it's in all the so-called healthy protein bars and energy bars and even weight loss products. How outrageous is that? So what should you use instead of these toxic sugars? Stevia. Stevia is easier on the stomach, it tastes great, it doesn't raise insulin, and it doesn't even raise blood sugar. Even better, stevia has been shown to help stabilize blood sugar and insulin, and that means your MAT gets a wonderful boost. You can burn more fat and enjoy your favorite sweet treats. In fact, I'll give you a few delicious stevia-sweetened dessert recipes in your personalized plan in just a few moments, right after I cover the third and perhaps worst of these MAT disruptors. Now, the reason these are so bad is that they affect the entire household. I call them family foods. These are foods you may be feeding your kids, your spouse, your friends. Family foods include caramelized onions, charred steaks, and the real shocker, chicken breasts. Specifically, chicken with barbecue sauce. Now, rest easy, chicken can be a great food, a really good weight loss food, if you cook it right. But the sauces that we put on chicken breasts are loaded with insulin-spiking sugar. And there's something worse about cooking with all these sauces, because at high heat, they create something called AGE particles. AGE stands for Advanced Glycation End Products. And boy, is that acronym accurate, because age particles age your body. Ages are basically cell-damaging particles. That's what you got to remember. And this sticky gunk gums up our MAT and stalls the ability to burn fat. But fortunately, there's a simple and a tasty fix. Instead of using a sweet sauce to cook with, use real butter or coconut oil. These fats actually have way more flavor than most sugar-based sauces, and eating them with a healthy protein like chicken is not going to make you fat. Lower insulin, fewer age particles, that means weight loss can accelerate dramatically. Your health can improve. Your skin may glow from the addition of these healthy natural fats, and your energy can dramatically increase just from the reduction of the cell-damaging age particles. Okay, now that you know the MAT-disrupting foods you'll need to avoid, it's time to meet the youth hormone. Now, this is the one that actually feeds your MAT while starving your fat. And it's the biggest weight loss breakthrough that I've seen in my 20-plus year career. What's really special about this youth hormone is that you only have to follow a few simple food tweaks to naturally produce all of it that you'll ever need. Your new weight loss savior is a little hormone called IGF-1. Now, IGF-1 was originally discovered in 1957, but at the time, doctors thought it was only important for children. And that's because IGF-1 plays a huge role in growing the brain, the heart, the liver, and the kidneys. Remember those 4 tissues? That's your metabolically active tissue, your MAT. And it's why kids have almost 3 times better IGF-1 levels than most adults. The ideal level of IGF-1 makes kids perfect full-time fat burners. However, its power to do the same thing for adults wasn't really understood until much more recently. We now know that IGF-1 plays a major role in turning fat calories into clean, long-burning fuel for your MAT. And because your brain, liver, heart, and kidneys are your primary MAT, the importance of optimizing your IGF-1 should never be underestimated. 2014 studies showed that folks with the optimal level of IGF-1 usually had brain volume levels that were higher, which usually indicates enhanced cognitive functioning. And these folks also were at a lower risk for heart disease. And they had much stronger bones. And that's not all IGF-1 does. Remember, IGF-1 is also known as the youth hormone. And that's because a 2013 study showed that IGF-1 can preserve skin tone, smoothness, firmness. Imagine looking years younger. And when you have MAT-enhancing IGF-1 surging through your body, even your sleep may improve, just like when you were a baby. Here's the problem. IGF-1 levels are impaired by 14% when we hit our 30s, another 25% in our 40s, and a full 56% in our 60s. And that sounds pretty bleak, doesn't it? Don't worry. Scientists have discovered a reliable way to optimize your MAT-enhancing IGF-1 levels, and it works at any age. All it takes is eating the right combinations of foods at the right times. These foods are absolutely delicious and the furthest thing from gross diet food. And that's what makes the personalized IGF-1 meal plan that you're about to get so revolutionary. It reveals the perfect foods for all of us who want to lose weight, yet aren't big fans of dieting, which is just about everybody, right? And if that sounds like you, you're lucky you found this video. So which foods will optimize your IGF-1 levels? And when should you eat them to reactivate MAT so you can burn even more fat? Well, you're going to love this news. You do not have to eat bushels of kale and spinach to get your IGF-1 dialed in. In fact, to optimize this youth hormone, I want you to devour some cheat foods. Foods like the carbs we all love. For me, that's mouth-watering breads and rich desserts, and for others, it's pasta or tasty cereals. But if you eat these foods at just the right time, these foods actually can stimulate your MAT. That means you can lose weight and not feel deprived. Now, that is a godsend. And it makes your eating plan fun and easy to stick to. Now, eating the right foods at the right time is only one way to optimize IGF-1 and to reactivate MAT. And productive as our time together has been today, there's just no way to cover all the tips that you'll want to have to fully activate your MAT. To shed fat from the most stubborn parts of the body, like your thighs and your hips and your belly, and to take willpower out of this equation once and for all and let IGF-1 take over and do the hard work. To start trimming off as much fat as possible in just 22 days. And to do that, you'll want even more personalized help. That's why I want to give you a far more precise, step-by-step, simplified, and tailored plan specifically created for level 2 fat burners like you. So many other level 2 fat burners are losing weight and completely thriving on the plan you're about to begin today, including Jacqueline, who I told you about earlier. Now, at 53, Jacqueline had never been able to fully control her metabolism, and she wasn't happy about how she looked, and she wasn't happy about how she felt. And then she started my IGF-1 optimizing plan. Now, today, she has such a strong fat-burning metabolism that she just can't even eat the junk food that she used to without feeling wiped out. She's lost 44 pounds, and she says, overall, this was the best thing I ever did. And then there's Lena from Burlington. Now, after menopause, traditional diet and exercise programs stopped working for her body. Not really surprising. But once I showed her which foods optimize her IGF-1, everything changed. She lost 17 pounds, and she says she's never going back to any other way of eating. Amazing, right? Well, she's not alone. Teresa from Springfield, Oregon, lost 18 pounds without ever once counting calories, which is good, because as she says, I love butter, and I love bacon, and I love eggs, so this really worked for me. And the weight just stayed off. Laura from Detroit dropped 2 dress sizes in the first 22 days. And then there's Shari, who's really one of my favorite stories. In her first 22 days, Shari dropped 14.5 pounds. Really good. Excellent work. But more importantly, she upgraded her fat-burning level. And then, by following the same plan, she kept upgrading it for another 11 months. Overall, Shari lost 130 pounds, and she looks fantastic. And she says, there isn't anything special about me at all. I just followed the plan, and my body responded just the way it's supposed to. Look, literally tens of thousands of women have used this plan to lose weight, and the best part of it is that they feel as good as they look. I'd love nothing more than for you to be one of my thrilling success stories and to do it in just 22 days. So it's with great pleasure that I can finally introduce you to my Metabolic Factor program. This all-natural MAT activating system is designed to give you sustainable and enjoyable fat burning in just 22 days. The Metabolic Factor represents my life's work. It's an easy-to-understand plan that contains everything I know about optimizing IGF-1 levels naturally. And the best part is, it only takes a few simple changes to which foods you eat and when you eat them. That means there's no exercise requirement. If you're not exercising now, I do not want you to start during the first 22 days. Plus, unlike a lot of trendy keto and carb-restricting plans, I actually want you to occasionally feast on carbohydrates. Sounds crazy? Hold on. It's fully backed by the latest science. You see, when you cut carbs and calories on a traditional diet, your metabolism actually adapts and it slows down. And that makes perfect sense. I mean, if all of a sudden you start eating less, your body's programmed to interpret that to mean that food is scarce. So it starts burning fewer calories. It goes on a budget. But if you strategically add in high-carb, high-calorie meals, like pizza, pasta, nachos, even decadent fudge brownies, that sends a signal to your body, hey, there's plenty of food around. So your metabolism actually kicks into high gear, and it actually helps upgrade your fat-burning level. How cool is that? Of course, you can't overindulge on these carb feasts every day. The trick is to use them strategically, like I show you how to do in Metabolic Factor. And that'll keep your metabolism humming along, just burning fat at top speed without ever feeling deprived. And that's just one difference that makes the Metabolic Factor stand apart from every other diet plan out there. Let's look at some of the other differences. Traditional diets force you to starve yourselves of carbs or to count calories. And you know what happens most of the time? You end up with softer, saggier muscles. You need superhuman willpower. You suffer with yo-yo weight gain. You get stuck in a one-size-fits-all plan that's not suited to your metabolism. And because that plan wasn't suited to your metabolism in the first place, it winds up damaging your metabolism and actually slowing it down. It disrupts your IGF-1 levels, and it destroys your calorie-burning mat. Now, just compare that to the Metabolic Factor approach. Now you get to feast on carbs. You don't count calories. You tighten and tone muscle. Now you can relax because you're managing your hormones, and your hormones are the ones that are controlling your hunger and your cravings. Now you're enjoying consistent weight loss. You've got a customized plan unique to your fat-burning type. You'll improve your metabolism, You'll naturally optimize fat-burning IGF-1 levels, and you'll fully activate that calorie-burning MAT. Not too shabby, right? I simply haven't seen any other meal plan that can offer you all of this in one easy, enjoyable, and lifestyle-friendly system. Which is why today, I'd love to give you the complete Metabolic Factor IGF-1 Optimizing Blueprint, your 22-day guide to the most enjoyable weight loss ever. You see, eating the right foods at the right times is a powerful way to optimize IGF-1, but it's not the only way, which is why I've also included 5 additional natural IGF-1 optimizers in the Metabolic Factor program at no additional charge. Optimizer number 1 is what I call IGF-1 craving killers. Now, these are 3 simple snacks that stop sugar urges and hunger pangs dead in their tracks. Plus, they help optimize IGF-1 even more. You're absolutely going to love these tasty treats. Now, Optimizer 2 is all about IGF-1 optimizing movements. Now, these are those everyday activities I told you about, like walking around the house and even brushing your teeth. These movements are about to turn into potent fat burners for you. And because of that, for 22 days, you're actually not going to have to exercise at all. That's right. I do not want you to start exercising. Now, if you're already following an exercise program that you like, you don't have to stop. But if you're not already working out, now is not the time to start. Instead, I'm going to give you an easy plan that uses common everyday movements to optimize your IGF-1. Optimizer number 3 is all about IGF-1 sleeping. You'll use my 15-minute IGF-1 sound sleep technique. This helps put you in a deep, relaxing sleep that actually helps optimize your IGF-1, rejuvenate your fat-burning MAT, and awaken you to the best natural energy you've had in years. Optimizer number 4 is all about stress relief. Look, you cannot optimize IGF-1 without doing something about stress. You just can't. Stress plays havoc with your IGF-1, and it's an especially serious problem for your particular fat-burning type. And that's because even normal stress from work, from family, from that to-do list that never stops ending, all of those things release a flood of the stress hormone cortisol into your body. And too much cortisol can force your body to attack your own MAT. It can age you faster, and it disrupts IGF-1. So it's critical that we get your stress under control, and that's why you'll love my 4-minute relaxation relief. I call this simple technique the cortisol destroyer. It's a simple technique that helps neutralize cortisol so that your body can go on to the next level of fat burning. And it's so easy that it only takes 4 minutes. And Optimizer 5 is my IGF-1 detox. Did you know there's a 15-minute spa-like experience that you can create in your own home for less than a few pennies? And this allows your body to effortlessly release some of the toxins that you've stored in your body over many years. Now, these toxins are a major factor that can actually prevent you from losing weight and from feeling healthy. When these toxins have been flushed from your body, your IGF-1 naturally optimizes to the level that maximizes your body's ability to burn fat. Now, I've been using these 5 steps with clients just like you for many, many years. And as you saw earlier, they're scientifically engineered to kickstart these life-changing transformations in just 22 days. Now, when you get your personalized copy of the Metabolic Factor Plan, you'll be blown away by just how easy these things are to implement. Getting this plan to as many people as I can has become my mission in life. You see, I wasn't always a full-time fat burner like I am today. And everybody knows that when I was younger, I struggled with all kinds of addictions of every sort you can think of: alcohol, drugs, even food. And my weight was all over the place. But more importantly, my health was all over the place. It was pretty bad. And I was just shy of my 40th birthday. And I finally realized that if I didn't clean up my life, I wasn't going to make it to 40, let alone 50 or 60. But the problem was I couldn't do it on my own. So I had to accept the help of my friends and my family. And without their help, I would never have gotten off alcohol or some of the pretty heavy, harder drugs. And I would never have earned my PhD in nutrition. And I would never have lost the weight I needed to regain my health. And I would never have gotten back in shape. Their life-changing support is the reason that I dedicate my life to helping other people. It's the reason I created the Metabolic Factor for folks like you. You can learn more about getting your personalized copy right below this video. It's written in a cut-to-the-chase manner that you can breeze through. Everything you need to know about each of the 5 IGF-1 optimizers is laid out in 75 simple-to-read pages, and you can absorb and apply all 5 of them in a matter of minutes. Plus, it comes with the Metabolic Factor Daily Nutrition Planner. That means you'll never have to guess what to eat next. It's all laid out for you in the easiest plan I ever created, a plan that's built around what I call food freedom. That means you can enjoy delicious carb feasts that actually induce even greater weight loss. Isn't that amazing? These carb feasts include treats like this barbecue burger with sweet potato fries, or this amazing chicken fried rice, or even this unbelievable chocolate lava cake. Yep, chocolate lava cake is a weight loss food when you follow my Metabolic Factor blueprint. It's a plan built to kick your metabolism into action as it awakens your metabolically active fat-burning tissue in just 22 days. And that's all it takes. Now, if the Blueprint and Nutrition Planner were all you received today, it would still easily be worth the $97 retail price my publishers wanted to charge. And when I toss in the bonuses that you're going to see in a second, that $97 is going to sound borderline crazy. So here's how I managed to get you the discount that you're about to see. I convinced my publisher to pre-order 40,000 copies of the Metabolic Factor system. And that let us negotiate a pretty sweet deal with the printer. Now, I know that sounds like a gutsy move, and frankly it was, but I needed to get this out there. I've seen way too many folks just like you who, thanks to the Metabolic Factor system, are finally walking around in a body that they can be proud of, with the kind of health and vitality that they always wanted. And once my publishers saw those results, and once they felt my passion for helping transform your body and your life, they were sold. And that's why I can offer you the complete Metabolic Factor system for the unbelievably low price you see below. This is such an unbelievable discount, I'm not even 100% positive that it's still available. You'll have to check below. And after these initial copies are sold, we may have to go up in price. So click the button below right now before this discount expires, and that way you'll receive the Metabolic Factor today at a price that's really not been seen before. And to sweeten the deal, and to help you burn fat even faster, you'll also receive a free copy of the Metabolic Factor 10-Minute Meals, a retail value of $27. And wouldn't you like to have a ton of delicious, easy-to-make recipes right there at your fingertips, recipes that were designed with the whole family in mind, including the kids, with the majority of the recipes taking no more than 10 minutes or less to prepare, and using simple, common ingredients that you can find at any local grocery store? I worked with a gourmet chef to make sure that these meals delight even the pickiest eater in your family. And we got a lot of them in my family. And by the way, there's a huge variety of metabolism-boosting carb feast meals and desserts. Remember, these are the secret to keeping your metabolism high and your mat burning fat at top speed. Just take a look at these tasty treats. Can you even believe these are the key to burning more fat? Well, they're not the only mouth-watering secrets in this meal plan. I've also included some of the most delicious metabolic milkshake recipes you can imagine, like this vitamin-boosting cherry amaretto shake, or this antioxidant-rich chocolate cashew crunch, or this youth-enhancing pumpkin spice apple strudel shake. If you like milkshakes, man, you are really in luck today. My metabolic milkshakes and these 10-minute meals give you the flavors that you crave, the taste that you love, and the free time that you may not have ever imagined was possible. And that's what you'll receive in my Taste Bud Tempting collection. Plus, I'm including your exact day-by-day, meal-by-meal plan that you can customize based on your personal preferences and taste. Just like Kendra from Middleville did before she lost 15 pounds. Or like Tessa from Hillsborough did before she lost 23. Or like Patty E. did before she lost 165 pounds. Before I go, I'd like to walk with you down 2 possible paths that you can choose today. The first is the path that millions of people struggle with. The road is jagged, the road is rough, the challenges are frightening, and right now, no one's really helping these folks find their way. And for those who continue on this path, things are only going to get more difficult as the days and the months and the years pass. Folks who do nothing will experience the results of IGF-1 levels continuing to decrease, taking precious fat-burning MAT along with it. They may suffer from continued weight gain, from lack of energy, and from simply feeling old. And it won't be long before they just give up. They toss in the towel, they resign themselves to leading half a life where their body feels like it's betraying them at every turn, A life where celebration and joy are limited by their physical, their emotional, even their spiritual well-being. A life way less spectacular than they truly deserve. This is not the path I would choose for you, but only you can choose correctly. Only you have that power, and that's the power to choose the metabolic path. Here's what 22 days on the metabolic path is designed to deliver. And just hours after you begin my Metabolic Factor program, you begin to notice a small shift in the way that you feel. Now, it's subtle at first. Maybe it's a wave of unexpected energy or a burst of excitement or a bit of eager anticipation for something that lies ahead of you. Then at about day 5, you move from subtle to like, oh, wow. You begin to notice that your waistline is now really looking slimmer as you pass by your bathroom mirror. Your face isn't so puffy, and your clothes are starting to drape off your body. By day 11, you notice that you're not even thinking about food all the time, let alone obsessively watching everything that you're eating. You're simply eating and enjoying it, while your internal calorie counter is automatically managing your hunger for you. Today, a friend compliments you, saying, "You look so refreshed. What are you doing differently? Did you take a vacation? Did you get some work done?" Others are noticing too. And by day 15, you're probably swimming in positive reinforcement. And your energy today has reached a level you haven't experienced maybe since high school. You start to see changes in your body every day. You're losing inches on those same stubborn areas that used to drive you crazy. Your skin is tightening and improving. You're beginning to see younger, slimmer you that your family remembers, that you remember, that you maybe thought you'd never see again. And it's now day 22, and life has taken on a whole different dimension. You feel truly alive. Your relationships are thriving. Your body's back under your control. Your vitality is apparent to anybody who sees you. The way you look, the way you feel, the way you move finally makes you feel a sense of contentment. And now you have the rest of your life to look forward to, in a body that will empower you to live that life to the fullest. Now, honestly, which path sounds better? Which path sounds like the smart choice? There's only one, and it's the metabolic path. Click the button below to claim your copy of my Metabolic Factor and get started on that path today. I'll be walking beside you all the way to the end. Thanks for watching. Hey, if you're still there, you may have a few questions about the metabolic factor system that I haven't covered yet. So here are the most commonly asked questions. How fast will I see and feel results? Well, most people report feeling results on the Metabolic Factor program in as little as 48 to 72 hours. You may notice a pleasant lift in your mood and an increase in your energy during your first few days. And since the plan is only 22 days long, you'll notice, and others will notice, many physical changes pretty quickly. One thing I should warn you about, actually, is some of the changes happen really fast, and they may come even as a bit of a shock to you and to those around you. And you'll probably be asked a lot of questions about what you're doing, or, hey, did you just go on a vacation? You look so much younger. And this is to be expected. You go through some pretty rapid changes. People start asking questions, but really, that's a pretty small price to pay, isn't it? What happens when I finish the 22-day Metabolic Factor plan? Well, your post-Metabolic Factor 22-day plan is very simple. The foods you can actually eat increase as the metabolic factor becomes a part of your lifestyle, and I cover exactly what to do in the Metabolic Factor blueprint. The good news is that you won't have to think about it all that much. Your eating and cravings will be put on autopilot during that first 22 days because your IGF-1 becomes your built-in calorie controller. And this makes sticking to the plan a piece of cake. And yes, you can actually have a piece of cake. Is the Metabolic Factor safe? The Metabolic Factor is one of the safest nutrition plans I've ever used. The delicious, nourishing foods you'll be eating are loaded with heart-healthy omega-3 fats, with age-fighting antioxidants, with inflammation-busting phytonutrients, and muscle-firming protein, and toxin-removing veggies, and metabolism-boosting vitamins and minerals, and much, much more. As always, you want to pass any plan by your physician or health practitioner, but I've yet to hear a doctor give anything but praise once he or she sees the healthy foundations and the lifestyle-friendly suggestions within the Metabolic Factor plan. Perhaps a better question is it safe to do without this plan? Remember, unbalanced levels of IGF-1 and insulin are conclusively linked to disease states like Alzheimer's, heart disease, bone disease, and even brain disorders. And it's for this reason that I consider it urgent that you optimize your natural levels of IGF-1 as quickly as possible. Do other nutrition plans optimize IGF-1? If they do, it's by accident, not by design. The metabolic factor is the first plan I know of that's designed specifically to optimize IGF-1 without resorting to dangerous, expensive, and painful drugs. Can I take injections or supplements to optimize IGF-1? Yeah, you can, and there's not necessarily anything wrong with that, but I can tell you that it's extremely expensive, and to do it right, you need to be monitored by physicians who are trained and certified in age management medicine. And there are still some unknowns around it, and quite honestly, it's just not an option that's available or attractive to everybody. So why not try optimizing your hormones this way first, see what happens? There are several supplements that actually stabilize IGF-1 when they're used in conjunction with the metabolic factor meal plan, and I'll share more about these on the next page after you order. Can my kids enjoy the metabolic factor menus? Absolutely. The metabolic factor meal plans are routinely used by whole families, and kids absolutely love the taste. And since you'll be enjoying all kinds of carb-rich foods, your kids may never even know that they're eating healthy. Do I have to do any exercise to enjoy optimized IGF-1? While exercise can stabilize IGF-1, its effects are only really temporary. And plus, it requires pretty intensive exercise to really optimize IGF-1, and that may not be appropriate for most people. On the metabolic factor plan, I suggest moderate walking only during your first 22 days as your metabolism heals and while your metabolically active fat-burning tissue starts to kick back up into gear and get fully activated. Now, after that, you may find that you feel like moving more. And the key is to do whatever makes you happy. Is there a money-back guarantee? Oh, yes, there is. But we actually offer something even better. The metabolic factor offers the only 6-point checklist that guarantees results in 6 specific measurable ways, or I will pay for your program. You won't be out a single penny unless all 6 of these lifestyle improvements are clearly present. It's the only money-back guarantee of its kind anywhere on the planet, and I'm that positive that the Metabolic Factor program will deliver results. Since starting the Metabolic Factor, my husband's telling me that I look a lot younger. I feel younger, that's for sure. Is this a common experience? And if so, what's causing it? Well, other than weight loss, looking and feeling younger is actually one of the most commonly reported side effects of the Metabolic Factor program. Folks have reported improvements to their joints, to their skin, to their energy levels, to their mobility, and to their mood in a matter of days. This is what can happen when your MAT becomes fully activated. And part of what's causing this youth-enhancing effect is IGF-1. It's as close to a true anti-aging hormone as I've ever seen. But these improvements are also related to insulin levels being lowered, and they're a natural response to losing excess weight. You'll always feel better when you look better. I've tried the Atkins diet, I've tried going paleo, becoming a vegetarian, the Zone diet, the South Beach diet, and so far nothing's worked. I always put the few pounds I lose right back on. How is this plan any different? What I find the most rewarding is when folks who've struggled for years, even decades, to lose the weight and keep it off, when they find their bodies changing before their eyes while they're on my metabolic factor plan. Something that works this well doesn't come along very often, so it's always nice to hear from men and women like the ones you're going to see below, who, just like you, have tried just about every diet known to mankind, and they've all been let down. And the metabolic factor will give you more than just results. It'll actually restore your hope in what's possible for you, for your body, and for your life. I trust now that you're ready to take action and to get your MAT up and running at full speed, and to burn fat around the clock, and to optimize your youth-enhancing and fat-burning IGF-1 naturally, and join the rest of us in the Metabolic Factor family. And we're here to greet you with open arms the moment that you click the button below this video and you join us today. It's a decision you'll appreciate and you'll remember for the rest of your life. And I'll greet you on the very next page.